Welcome to the lesson 11-3, distance and midpoint formulas. Vocabulary for this lesson is simply midpoint. The midpoint of a segment AB is a point M on line AB halfway between the endpoints of A and B, where AM equals MB. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the definition. The distance formula. The distance D between any two points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, is distance equals the square root of x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. Please copy down any of this information you need in your notes. Pause the video if you need more time. The midpoint formula. The midpoint M of a line segment with endpoints A, which is x1, y1, and B, x2, y2, is the midpoint equals x1 plus x2 over 2 for the midpoint of x, or the x of the midpoint, and y1 plus y2 over 2 for the y value of the midpoint. Please pause the video if there's any of this information you still need to get copied down. Now we're going to use the distance formula. We're going to find the distance between T, which is at 3, negative 2, and V, which is at 8, 3. We're going to start with our formula, which is D equals the square root of the quantity x1 minus x2 squared plus the quantity y1 minus y2 squared. We substitute in our values for x and y for both points. So we end up with the square root of 3 minus 8 squared plus negative 2 minus 3 squared. Go ahead and perform the operations inside parentheses. So you end up with the square root of negative 5 squared plus the square root plus negative 5 squared. Negative 5 squared is 25. Negative 5 squared is 25. So now we have the square root of 25 plus 25. 25 plus 25 is 50. So we're going to take the square root of 50. At this point, you need to round your answer to the nearest tenth, and you end up with the distance of the line is 7.1 units. Pause the video if you need any more time to copy down this information. Now we're going to do a quick check. We're going to find the distance between the 2 points in each pair. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. So for 1A, our points are 3, 8, and 2, 4. We start with our distance formula. We fill in our x's and our y's. So we end up with the square root of the quantity 3 minus 2 squared plus the quantity 8 minus 4 squared. Do what's in parentheses first. We end up with the square root of 1 squared plus 4 squared. Go ahead and do the squares. We end up with the square root of 1 plus 16. So we'll have the square root of 17, and when you take the square root of 17, we are going to round to the nearest tenth, and we get the distance is 4.1 units. If you need more time to copy down any of this information, please pause the video at this time. Now we're going to do another quick check. We're going to find the distance between the 2 points in each pair. This pair, our coordinates are 10, negative 3, and 1, 0. Again, we'll start with our distance formula. So D equals the square root of the quantity x1 minus x2 squared plus the quantity y1 minus y2 squared. We substitute in the x values and y values, so you end up with the square root of the quantity 10 minus 1 squared plus negative 3 minus 0 squared. We solve what's inside the parentheses. 10 minus 1 is 9, so we have the square root of 9 squared, plus we have negative 3 minus 0, which is negative 3, so we'll have that negative 3 squared. 9 squared is 81, and negative 3 squared is 9, so we're going to now add those two together. So we are going to end up finding the square root of 90. Again, we're going to want to round our answer to the nearest tenth. And when we take the square root of 90, we are going to get 9.5 units. If you need more time, now's your chance to pause the video. Example 2. Now we're going to find the midpoint of a segment. We're going to find the midpoint of segment TV. T is at 4, -3, and V is at 9, 2. We're going to use our midpoint formula, which to find the new x, the x of the midpoint, we're going to take x1 plus x2 and divide by 2. And find the midpoint of the y. For the y coordinate, we're going to take y1 plus y2 and divide by 2. So we fill in all of our coordinates. So for the x, we're going to have 4 plus 9 over 2. And for the y, -3 plus 2. 4 plus 9 is going to be 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. -3 plus 2 is -1. -1 divided by 2 is -0.5. So our new coordinates are 6.5, -0.5. That is where our midpoint would be located. If you need more time, pause the video at this time before going on to the next slide. Now we're going to do another quick check. We're going to find the midpoint of each segment. We'll do this one together. We start with our formulas. Write it down, the midpoint, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. We fill in our x's and our y's. 2 plus 6 over 2, and 5 plus 1 over 2. 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 over 2 is 4. 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 over 2 is 3. So our midpoint is at 4, 3. Pause the video if you need more time. Going to do another quick check for the midpoint of each segment. Our 2 points are at -4, -2, and 2, 3. Again, we start with our formula, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. We fill in our x values and our y values. We have -4 plus 2 over 2, -2 plus 3 over 2. -4 plus 2 is -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So our midpoint is at -1.5. If you need more time to copy the video, pause it at this point to get it copied. Now we're going to do 3 more midpoints. This is of the triangle DEF. For this one, what I'd like for you to do is to set the problem up and then continue the problem. The first midpoint we're going to find is between D and E. I want you to pause the video at this time and set the problem up. Now you're ready to check it. Be sure you've written the formula down. Fill in your x's and your y's. And finally get an answer of 3, 1. Good job if you got that one right. Pause the video if you need to make any corrections to your paper. Now we're going to go on to finding another one. This time we're going to find the midpoint between E and F. Again, I want you to try it on your own. So pause the video, set the problem up, and solve it. Now you're ready to check it. Hopefully you filled in the formula, or you wrote the formula down. Be sure you filled it in correctly. 5 plus -3 over 2, 0 plus -1 over 2. If you did your math correct, you should have gotten 1 -0.5 for your ordered pair. Again, pause the video if there's any corrections you need to make to your problem. Final midpoint of the triangle, DF. Again, write your formula. Fill in for your coordinates that you know and find your midpoint. Pause the video so that you can complete this task. Alright, let's check it. You should have written the formulas down. You should have filled in the formulas. 1 plus -3 over 2 and 2 plus -1 over 2. 1 plus -3 is going to give us -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. 2 plus -1 gives us 1. 1 over 2 is 0.5. So you should have gotten -1.5 for your midpoint. Pause the video if you need more time to finish this problem. You have finished Lesson 11-3. I challenge you to do the online quiz. The web code is BJA1103. You can also find a video tutorial from the book. It is web code BJE1103. I'll see you in class tomorrow.